Hey there, I'm Diana from BeMommyWithStyle.com and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I wanted to dive into my process for how I plan our summer trips. So we have a couple travel plans coming up this summer. First of all, we are going to North Carolina and I'm excited to see some new things there. And then we're headed to Disney World as a family and we're gonna have a lot of fun at Disney World. But I thought it would be interesting to kind of delve into my process because I love processes and checklists, and really the planning portion of these trips is a lot of fun for me. So I thought as we're all getting ready to go off on our summer adventures, this could be helpful to you if you are also planning some summer travel or some school break travel for your own families, and just kind of hearing how I break down the process. I have some helpful tips and lots of travel planning videos and travel planning blogs. So check out the links down below to some of my travel essentials that I love to travel with. That video is here on YouTube. And I also have tons of different travel itineraries and helpful travel blogs over on the blog as well too. So to start off, the first thing that I do when I'm getting ready to plan our summer travel or these fun little trips that we do is I pick our time frame. So that means not only the time of year that we're gonna go, for example, like North Carolina, we're gonna go in June, but I also plan out how many days I think that we are going to be gone for that trip and how many days I think that we're gonna be there, including travel days and whatnot. I also plan out the location or locations. So for example, for North Carolina, we're actually visiting multiple cities and multiple different destinations while we are there. So I need to plan out and make sure that we have enough travel time to get between the different places and get to all the points of interest that we want to see while we're there. So these first two things I decide first because that really informs whether or not it's someplace that we can do a road trip to or we can fly. In the case of North Carolina right now, obviously we are quite a distance away from North Carolina. We are up at the top of the United States in Minnesota. North Carolina is quite a distance away. We are not driving there in the amount of time that I have allotted for this trip, which is under 5 days. So we are definitely flying there. So that instantly gives me the information that I need to book plane flights. So once I know the time frame, the specific travel days that I want to go on, the general locations that we want to go to, and whether we're going to be driving or flying, the next step I'm going to do if we're flying is book our flights. So that way I know that we have those flight dates locked in. I know what our travel dates are and I can start planning everything else around those, whether we need a rental car, where our resorts or hotels are going to be, and start planning all of those portions. So after our flights are booked, the next thing that I would book is book our hotels. For our North Carolina trip, we're staying in Asheville a few days. We're gonna be in Charlotte for a period of time right before our flight home. So I divided up our hotel rooms between those different locations to do all of the different activities that we wanna do in those different areas. So I got our hotels booked and then we made sure that we had the rental car that we can pick up at the airport and be able to drive to all these different locations. So after those steps are complete and I know that we have our flight there, we have our hotel or resort, we have our transportation, kind of all the basic things that you need to have, that's when I really start putting all the details into the itinerary, getting tickets ahead of time for things that we want to see and do, and really start planning out all of our detailed time for our itinerary once we're there. So for North Carolina, one of the big things that I want to see while we're there is Biltmore. Our family has never been to Biltmore. I am so super excited to be able to go see this. They have a really amazing glass sculpture exhibit going on throughout the whole property right now. I'm really excited to see that. I love glass sculptures, and also the whole property in general is really, really beautiful. So this is definitely going to be somewhere we're excited to go. We will be vlogging the whole trip and excited just to share that as well too. But while we're there, we're going to be right next to the Great Smoky Mountains. If you have followed our family for a while, you know we love to go visit the Great Smoky Mountains. We've been to Pigeon Forge, Seaverville, and Gatlinburg a number of times over on the other side. We have certain resorts that we love staying there. So if you would want any information about those, let me know. I have some videos down below where you can check out us visiting the other side. But for this upcoming trip, we're actually going to be visiting the Great Smoky Mountains from the eastern side, the side that we haven't been on yet. So that's going to be really fun to go see that, and I definitely wanted to have some time blocked off and a big part of a day to be able to go out to the Clingman's Dome and the Great Smoky Mountains and those really beautiful viewing areas to really get that part of nature. Our family also has done a lot of hikes when we were going in Alabama, easy hikes mind you, but we've done a lot of hikes when we were in Alabama. and did family hiking. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that in this trip. So we'll be doing some sightseeing, going to the Great Smoky Mountains, and there's tons of great waterfall hikes around North Carolina. So I wanted to plan some of those into our trip. So I've picked a couple different places that we can go to, and if weather allows, we will go do a couple of those family-friendly waterfall hikes. Those things I had to kind of plan in our itinerary because we're going to be driving around and doing all of those. Then we're going to be driving back to the Charlotte area to have our last evening there and be able to do some things in the Charlotte area as well. So I'm really excited about this trip, but as I was kind of breaking down all the pieces for myself, I was like, this might actually be very helpful if you're planning your own trips this summer to know what order I planned everything. So after that detailed itinerary, and I kind of know where we're going to be which days, and I've roughly time blocked the amount of time that I think we're going to be, you know, driving out to this area and spending time there, and then driving back in, we'll end up back in Asheville for dinner, etc. Then, once I kind of know where we're going to be for those meal times, the next thing I start researching is where to plan our meals. So I already have a rough idea of, even if I don't pick the single spot that we may eat, I may have 2 or 3 different options that I've narrowed it down to. So I can ask everyone, do you feel like Korean barbecue or burgers tonight? And then if everyone has a kind of singular answer, we all vote, and it's a majority, then we will go to that restaurant that I've already kind of pre-planned, and I know we should theoretically be back in that area. So most of the places that I tend to pick for vacations, like North Carolina, I don't necessarily make reservations ahead. If you're visiting somewhere like Chicago or something like that, you may want to go ahead and just make those reservations so you have them. And of course, places like Disney World, they have a whole process for that. All of our reservations are made in advance. So that piece may be a little different depending on the location. But if you're planning on going to Chicago, Huntsville, I have one coming out soon for Atlanta, Nashville, any of those places, I have some different travel itineraries with restaurant suggestions and activity suggestions on BeMommyWithStyle.com. So I will link some of those down below so you can find those. And I will put our travel itinerary after we've gone to North Carolina also on the blog. So if you're interested in going there, you can kind of see the path that we took and some of those activities that we did as well. And I'll of course be sharing it here on the vlog as well too. So after I have all of those key pieces planned out for where we're going to be going, how we're going to get there, where we're going to stay, what we're going to do, what we're going to eat, and all of that's planned, then I kind of turn my attention to, okay, what do we need to pack and what do we need to plan to bring with us? And then I start ordering anything that I may need to order for the trip and get those items as well too. So for North Carolina, I don't need a whole lot. I need to make sure that everyone has shoes that they can do an easy hike in, which will just be tennis shoes. I need to make sure that everyone has, you know, appropriate clothing that fits them, shorts and tank tops, because it'll be a little bit hotter there. And I'm also gonna get a couple Lily Pulitzer items. I got a couple items on sale and I'm planning on ordering maybe just 1 or 2 more. They have the cutest Lily Loves North Carolina line that, you know, it's a theme, it's a vibe that I'm planning on getting for the trip as well too. And I thought that those would be really cute for the trip. So then I start planning, you know, everything. Do I need to order anything for the trip? Do I need to order anything for the kids? Do I need to make sure my husband has anything, order anything for him? And I start working through all of those items. And I do that for every single place we go. Obviously, if we're living in Huntsville and just driving up to Nashville, this is all a lot more condensed. If it's a longer trip, someplace new, we may be ordering a little bit more or need to pack a little bit more to go there. If it's a Disney specific trip, obviously, if we're doing like character outfits or anything, I'll buy specific things for those. But in general, I just generally look at what we have, make sure we have all the essential items for the activities we'll be doing, and plan on packing those. So that's kind of the next step in the series of things that I do. And then both my husband and I do this actually, so I want to kind of give him some kudos in this video as well too. We both make last minute checklists for anything we want to make sure that we've packed, make sure that we purchased, or make sure we have with us. So if we were going on a cruise, this might include things like we want to make sure we have our passports with us. We want to make sure we have, you know, extra swim gear and swim bags with us and goggles and all of those things. So it would be dependent on what the trip is including and making sure that we have those things. So I think the really unusual thing for the North Carolina trip will be we're gonna be doing those family hiking activities. So I need to make sure that everyone has an extra pair of shoes that is good enough to go hiking in. So I'm not having to run out and go find someone's shoes while we're in the middle of North Carolina. I need to make sure that everyone has, you know, plenty of socks and extra changes of clothes and all those sorts of things. Other than that, it's a pretty regular trip. So we'll be packing kind of our regular items that we'll bring with us and making sure everyone has the change of clothes and pajamas and swimsuits and all those fun things because it'll be the summer. But that's our general process for figuring that out. And then once we go through all of those steps, the last step is just to go do the travel and have fun. So it's pretty straightforward, it's our process, but I wanted to walk you through step by step the way that I did it in case that would be helpful for you. And one of the fun things I have been sharing over on Be Mommy with Style are travel itineraries for different cities. I have Atlanta coming up soon. After we go to North Carolina, I will have North Carolina travel itinerary on there as well. People have really been loving these because I think they give you some good ideas for jump points for how to plan your own activity. Obviously, Chicago is one that I have a ton of information on because we're originally from Illinois. So if you're looking for Chicago information, I will definitely have all those linked down below because those have been some of the most popular ones. And any place that you go, now this does not work for North Carolina, and it doesn't work for Nashville, but for either Atlanta or Chicago, there's other places like San Diego. I have people get city passes for San Diego a lot for me. If you go to a city that offers a city pass, I highly recommend you look into getting one of those and bundling your activities all together in one pass. It just makes it easy to be able to see kind of the highlight of the activities, especially for Chicago. It's an amazing value. Like with the city pass, I just got it because it was a better deal. It made it like almost half price for us to go do all of these activities, see all these amazing museums, go up in the Sears Tower, and the Willis Tower, sorry. I saw this great meme on a Chicago page the other day that said, it's the Willis Tower, pronounced Sears. But anyhow, go up in the Willis Tower, used to be the Sears Tower, and you know, see these amazing things that are iconic to Chicago and bundle it in one ticket. So it's such a great value. If you're in a city that offers this, definitely look into it and see if it includes the activities that you're planning on doing because it is a great value. So I'm going to be coming up with some fun road trip suggestions as well too. Obviously these next two trips that we have coming up are more flight oriented, but we'll be doing some fun long weekend road trips as well too. And I want to give you our fun suggestions for all ages because obviously we used to do it with the younger kids as well too. Things to have on hand and essentials for road trips with the family as well. But I hope you're having a great start to the summer. I'm excited to kick it off. We're going to be vlogging this summer. The family's very excited about that. And I will be bringing you more information on that very soon. But let me know if you have any questions down below. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.